Yeah, I freaking said it, and I'll say it all over again. Debbie is the perfect character in Invincible. Honestly, I absolutely love Debbie in Invincible, and it's for various reasons. And frankly, it's funny to think that one of my favorite, if not my favorite character in the entirety of Invincible is someone who doesn't even have powers. Legitimately, doesn't even have powers. And it's kind of crazy to think about, but that's the truth. She may not have powers, but she's absolutely powerful in her own right. I think all of us can understand that she is the definition of representing what real strength truly is. Debbie may not be physically powerful like your Omni-Mans or your Invincibles, or like obviously like Mark Grayson and stuff like that, or even some of the other heroes like Rexplode or Adam Eve, but she has this unbreakable spirit. She has this unbreakable will that allows her to just endure these immense emotional and yes, even physical pain. Because after learning the truth about her husband, about Nolan, about Omni-Man, in despite of all this, she remains strong for her son. She shows that true strength isn't always about physical power, that it's really about this resilience. It's about holding yourself up when things are collapsing around you, about holding the people you care about the most in your arms and protecting them from all dangers, even if you don't have a way of protecting yourself. And that right there is what makes Debbie Debbie. She is freaking awesome from the absolute beginning. Seeing her be like the mother of a superhero and the wife of a quote unquote superhero and Omni-Man, it was pretty awesome to see. Normally you get these characters who really add this kind of trouble to a relationship, or this trouble to a relationship that they're in because they are with a superhero, and it's always these weird reasonings. But not Debbie. She truly is, and flat out will always be, someone who kind of puts everyone else in front of her own sake, right? She helps out. She's very motherly. I mean, she is obviously a mother, but she might even borderline be the perfect mother herself. Now, she does have her moments of like, things that she has emotionally breaking in her own mind, or maybe some emotional breakdown she goes through, but it doesn't mean that it makes her weak. She is realistic. She's an emotional character and has an emotional character arc. Because at first, Debbie does seem like a typical loving wife and mother, which, let's be honest, there's a lot of times where in fiction we see these mother figures be not the best. But even just as a typical mother and wife, she has an insane amount of just amazingness that she has to her own character and her ability to really take care of her own family. I mean, the way she really raises a quote-unquote eventual superhero, and the way she deals with the day-to-day with Omni-Man. I mean, she even said it herself that before, when Omni-Man would get hurt, when he would be, under quite a few injuries, she would handle it herself. So she would honestly be a big part of Omni-Man's kind of hero entire space, or hero journey, you could even call it. And she still is part of even Mark's eventual hero space and hero journey as he enters Invincible. But as the story unfolds, we see her go through an incredibly painful journey of betrayal, loss, and even just self kind of discovery about what she needs to be as a parent and as a mother and as someone who needs to protect those who basically she loves to the moon and back, right? Her arc is grounded, it's relatable, it's emotionally impactful. I mean, she isn't a superhero, but it feels like her storyline is very superhero-like. It makes her one of the most human characters in the series. And I know you're probably like, well, she legitimately is human, but that's not really necessarily the point, because a lot of the times when we get these characters, they don't really feel human. They don't feel like someone who would who would be, someone without powers that would give up everything for their child, someone without powers that would throw their life on the line for their child and for their loved ones. I mean, she even had the gall, the strength, and the absolute courage to call out Omni-Man's hypocrisy. Like, it's insane to think that she is a normal human being, and she was willing to stand up to Omni-Man or Nolan herself. She wasn't afraid to stand up to Nolan, wasn't afraid to stand up to the strongest being on that planet at that time, even when she discovers the horrifying truth about him, that he is just, absolutely horrendous, that the Viltrumite heritage is far from what she could have possibly imagined, something that she basically allowed him to keep secret for so long. And that's another thing that she does on a day-to-day basis, at least when she was with Omni-Man, that she would allow him to keep those secrets away from her. She would look past those secrets so that they could be happy. But guess what? She still wasn't afraid to step up to the plate when he started doing horrible, horrible things. And she knew that he killed the Guardians of the Globe, that he did all these horrible things, and she knew that Omni-Man was not necessarily the loving husband that she thought he necessarily was, and it would force her to confront him with what the actions he basically did. And her confrontation with him is one of the most powerful moments you would possibly see. This is a woman that could genuinely be torn to pieces in a matter of a split second if Nolan decided to do so. But she didn't care. There was no fear in her. There was no part of her that was scared, because she knew that what he was doing was wrong, and that she would confront him no matter what, and that she would do whatever she possibly could to have that courage, have that moral strength to tell him or to even try to stop him. Obviously, in terms of physicality and power, she would have no way of stopping him. But she wasn't going to stand there and allow him to blow things off and act like this was for the greater good, when, in all honesty, Debbie knew that sacrificing the people that they have cared about, sacrificing the people that they are friends with or were friends with for whatever this Viltrum greater good, utopia that he speaks of, she wasn't going to let that just go. Wasn't going to just be like, you know what, you're right, let's just let that happen. No. And she honestly is the most devoted but also realistic mother I've really ever seen in fiction. Maybe there are others as well, and I'm sure you guys can give me examples, but we have seen Debbie from time to time again kind of focus on this one thing, and that one thing is Mark, right? She wants Mark to have a good life. She wants Mark to just understand that she is there to support him, that she is there to help him, and she is always there for him in general. We have heard her kind of help him basically with different issues that are very human issues, but also with issues that she feels maybe are more super powered like issues. She tries to talk to him. She tries to help him. Any way she can be a great mother, she tries her absolute best, but she does hold on to that little bit of like, you know what, like, I want you to have that normal life. I want you to be, or be on the path of being that normal life, but I want you to also embrace that super powered being that you are, and that you're not your father. You can make your own decisions and you can be a better person. And Debbie continues to show this day in and day out throughout their time, from moments of her connecting with Mark, talking to him on a rooftop, to even kind of her basically taking on the responsibility of their little brother. The little brother that Mark would just stumble across on an alien freaking planet. And even her, she brings it up. She's like, so you're telling me that your father's alive, that he went off and basically mated with another species and another woman and got another wife and was like, like the ruler of this planet. And now you're telling me that this right here is your little brother. This right here is someone who I'm supposed to take care of. And Mark, well, being Mark, a good person overall, is there saying, you know what, I could take some time off of college, like, I could take care of him, like, this is my brother, like, I'm going to do that for him. And she's like, no, you're not going to do that, right? I'm going to handle it. Let me handle it. You need to live your life. And this is an adult Mark. He's not a high schooler anymore, right? But this is the mother that we absolutely love, the mother that we know as Debbie, and honestly the perfect character in Invincible, where she steps up to the plate, right? She's like, you know what? I'm going to take care of this child. I will help take care of this child. Don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. And she took that role, even though this was a child that Nolan or Omni-Man had with another woman. This is mind-blowing. Who does this? Who does this other than an absolute Wonder Woman of a woman? Because that's what she is. She's an absolute, just top of the line woman that anybody would be lucky to have. Anybody would be lucky to have her as a mother, as a wife, as anybody in their life. That is the type of stuff that she was able to do, and the type of stuff she continues to do day in and day out. The crazy part is it doesn't even end there, right? It doesn't even end at the fact that she decided, you know what, don't worry about it, Mark. I will take care of Oliver. I will take care of him. You know, you help here and there, whatever. And it's the whole idea of her taking care of somebody that will age rapidly to the point where, like, he's not going to be a little baby for long. Like, he's going to be grown up in a matter of months, right? It's going to be so quick. It's in a blink of an eye. And I know there's a lot of jokes to be made about families talking about that as well. Maybe your parents have said that too. I know my mother has said that before, like that life goes by in a blink of an eye. But in terms of Oliver, excuse me, it literally does, right? It literally does. So the fact that she is willing to take care of Oliver, willing to take on Oliver and the responsibilities of taking care of not only a child, but a child that is of an alien race or part alien race, or actually technically two alien races, and just take on the responsibility of what could possibly happen. But that's not it, guys. That is not it. That's not the only thing that makes her amazing, not the only thing that makes her great. It's the fact that she would put her life on the line for Oliver. When Angstrom Levy invaded their dimension, when they came to that world and he came hunting for Mark, well, who was standing in front of Oliver? Who was protecting that little one? Who would have protected Mark day in and day out? And who stood up for Mark's, or Invincible in this world's name, throughout that entire time? That was Debbie. Debbie told Angstrom Levy that, guess what? You're fighting this version of Mark because you're the villain. That you can't even stand the idea that there's a version of Mark that's a good guy. That's a good person. That's a freaking hero. And you are the villain. You are the horrible person that all these supposed Marks are comparing to you, right? And she's telling them off. And she even gets her arm broken in the process. And it's not even broken necessarily. Like, not broken in the idea of like what we think. Like, if I break my arm and, snap it, it's going to be still with skin for the most part. No. It was bad. It was brutal. Broken arm with, blood and stuff like that, gore, and the bone sticking out, stuff like that. Some really, really, really bad things. And she still, what was she doing? Was she crying, saying, why me? Why me? Like, oh, don't hurt me. No. She was telling Oliver, I'm okay. Don't worry. Like, don't cry. Everything's going to be okay, right? I'm okay. Don't worry about me. And that right there is like, whoa. She couldn't get any better, it seemed. It seemed like she hit every single aspect. A protective mother, right? A protective mother to superheroes. Everything. Every last bit of it. I mean, she knows this game. She knows the superhero game just as much as anybody else would. And she's protective of everyone. She's understanding of all of her children. I mean, she's understanding of Mark even when, he does the what with Adam Eve, and she says like, dude, I know you did that. And of course he doesn't want to talk about that, but it's kind of proof that she is an understanding mother, someone who just wants to be get the best out of her children, but also just be understanding enough that, hey, I know you're growing up, right? I know you're growing up and I know you're going to be doing these things. Just be safe, right? Just do this and be safe. And it's honestly crazy to think about that she just hits every single aspect of being not only the perfect character, but the perfect mother, the perfect, wife when she was the wife of, obviously, Omni-Man, but just every aspect. I mean, shoot, even when she was watching Invincible face off with Conquest, which, by the way, spoiler alert, a little bit of spoilers here, facing off with Conquest, and Oliver's like, no, I can help, I can do this. She was like, I don't want you to go. Like, it was obvious that she didn't want him to go, but she was like, I'm going to give you solid advice, right? Go over there, you know, keep your distance, don't let him grab you. And I'm going to be honest, Oliver didn't listen very well, but it was some solid ass advice, like really solid advice. Keep your distance, right? Don't let the big guy grab you, because that's when things get really bad. And that's the truth of it. Now, Oliver's a little bit, you know, out there in terms of his fighting style, so it didn't work out too well. But Debbie herself knew that there was no stopping the kid. If he wanted to help his brother, he was going to go help his brother, no matter what. But she wanted him to know that she will allow it, but she wants him to be careful. And she wanted to get those words out there because he was gonna go anyways. He was gonna go and try to help his brother, his big brother anyways. So you might as well tell him what you believe and what you think before he goes off and risks his life to save Invincible or Mark, and before he goes to try to save his big brother. Day in and day out, we see it. Debbie Grayson is one of the best characters, arguably the perfect character in Invincible. What she is as a mother, what she is as a wife, what she is as a person. I mean, even when she would go to a support group where they were basically, talking about their hero husbands and stuff like that, and she was basically looked down upon by another man and basically told off and told, hey, you shouldn't have come back, blah, 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 because Omni-Man was her husband, and that she was getting blamed for not knowing. She still didn't blame the person. Still didn't blame that guy and say, you know what, like, you have no right to tell me that. No, because she understood what he was feeling. She understood that he was going through hell, and it was Omni-Man's fault, and she had to live with that. And her understanding as a character, her honestly just empathy as a character is just amazing. And she proves day in and day out that you don't need powers to be important. In a world full of superpowered beings, Debbie's role is more crucial than you could possibly even imagine. Far more crucial than any ordinary human being. And she reminds us that being a hero isn't about superpowers. It's about heart. It's about perseverance. It's about courage. It's about standing on your beliefs no matter what, and helping those around you, keeping people like Mark grounded, people like Oliver grounded. And it shows day in and day out that she could really, as a normal person, be just as impactful as some superheroes. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Debbie Grayson and what she is as a character, and what she is kind of, in general as a Invincible quote unquote character. I absolutely loved her as a character. I thought she was amazing mother, wife, person, just everything. I thought she was awesome, and I just felt like I had to make a video about her because I even seen comments on other people's stuff, not my personal stuff, comparing her to basically Bulma from Dragon Ball Z. Having that comparison to Bulma, it kind of works and makes sense, because in terms of importance, Debbie and Bulma are insanely important to their own universes and in term their own worlds. And Debbie is massively important to the world of Invincible, even if, it's debatable if she's as important as someone like Bulma. But the point still stands. But nonetheless, I would love to hear what you guys had to say about the video and about the topic in general. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Stuff like that. Now, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys make sure to leave a like and sub, and also comment down below. And yeah, that's all I got to say. If you guys enjoyed this video, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.